my music lovers? This is just for you. Now, if you are a lover and fan of music, if you got that HBCU pride, specifically when it comes to HBCU marching bands, this is the only channel that is making sure to criticize, analyze, and bring everyone together that talks about what and loves music. Join us for Blow the Whistle. I'm Ashmac, and I want you to take this journey with us as we follow the bands and figure out who will be crowned Bands of the Year. Make sure to welcome our crew, the Blow the Whistle crew that will be joining us. Give it up for all of us. Right now, let's clap for everyone. Yes. Jay, since you're tapping like this, we're going to start with you, okay? Yeah. I need everyone's names, introductions, school and programs and affiliations that you have, and why you're here today.
All right. So my name is Jay Luke, a graduate of Norfolk State University, marched in the Spartan Legion Band, Dizzy-Act, section leader, screamer. I mean, you name it, I kind of pretty much did it all in the Legion in that section. But also a graduate of Texas Tech University, got my master's from there. So, you know, I just a jack of all trades, I guess. But for this, man, I'm going to be talking about brass, woodwind, just the musicality all around.
Facts. Okay, Quan, who are you? What you do?
What's happening, people? This is your boy Quano. I'm a graduate from the Prairie View A&M University, where I marched in the illustrious marching storm in the percussion section that known as the PV McFunk box, also is known as MSD. I'm percussionist, band director, all in between, music lover, music enthusiast. I'm excited to be here, and hey, let's get it.
Let's get it. Okay, Portia, what you do over there?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Portia. I am a graduate of Norfolk State University. I am a Silcat. I was section leader from 06 to 08. And I will be discussing all things auxiliary, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's what we're talking about all in between here today. And I think we should really start with a few divisions and the bands that are currently ranked. So let's start with Division 2, band number 1. Let's get into Langston University Marching Pride Bands. Now, what are your thoughts so far that you've seen this past year when it comes to this band? And we're going to start with Quan.
So first of all, quick story, the percussion person that's over Langston University was actually my section leader in the marching storm. So shout out to Brother Clifton Love. He's doing a great job, revamped that program. I think this is a great program percussion-wise. They've done a feature here and there, and they're pushing the envelope. Big shout out to Professor Mark Gordon, fellow Storm member as well. He's grown a program and took it to higher heights as of recent years. I think they're doing great. I think they're on their rise to be one of the top bands in the country. They did a great showing at the National Pepsi here in Houston. However, I have somebody else as my number one spot. We're going to talk about that later, but shout out to Langston. But number one, that's a little bit debatable.
Facts. Okay, Portia, what are we seeing so far when it comes to auxiliary overall?
So for Langston, I'm going to talk about the dancers and the color guard separately because there are a couple of different things that I see. For their dancers, good use of ripples, changing the formation, giving visuals on the field. Those are all good things. And they did a partnering thing in a couple of their field shows that I thought was really, really dope. What I would like to see more of and an improvement in is some of the timeliness and cohesiveness. They do have like a bigger squad. So making sure that things continue to align as you get tired. As far as the color guard, I did like that they changed flags throughout from what they used in the drill to what they used in the feature. I will say because they're moving a lot and there are some timing issues with them staying together, the color guard, while they're moving. But I did see some good things from them. I do want to see more intricate and more challenging routines from them, though.
Facts. Okay. Lastly, Jay, when it comes to the winds and brass, what are we seeing here? What are we thinking?
Look, so I'm just going to go ahead and just say it how I need to say it. Look.
Say your thing.
First of all, look, this is the thing. I'm going to do the same thing. Big shout out to Mark Gordon, but here's the truth. The truth is, while there has been growth in the program, I mean, intonation can be a really big issue across the band. I mean, being excited to play is one thing, overplaying is another thing. And the truth of the matter is sometimes they tend to overplay. And when they overplay, out of tune. And we got to do better with that. Balanced blend intonation is a very, very big thing that, we need to really check. So
I think that's a perfect transition to our next band, because maybe someone has the same thoughts and sentiments about this band program. Division II, band number 4, Fort Valley State. What are your thoughts about the band? What are we seeing so far? And let's start with, where we just ended off with, Jay, when it comes to Blue Machine Marching Band.
So first thing, Ashmek, what I'm going to say is I have very big issues when we start talking about these rankings here.
Okay.
Because just listening to Fort Valley State, first of all, they have a really big sound for a small group.
It's cute.
And with that being said, obviously some of the things that happen with them, they tend to overblow and stuff like that. And unfortunately that can actually mess with their intonation and stuff like that. But pound for pound for the side of their band, I think they're doing great, right? They got this one song called Peaches and something. Peaches and Eggplant.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's named that song. I don't know anything about that. What I'm telling you is it cranks, right?
Just young duty, it does crank.
Right. But here's my problem with this into the rankings, right? So I'm looking at this, right? You have Fort Valley at number 4. And you have, and I know I'm jumping here, but I got to jump real quick. You got Hampton at 12 on Division 1. I'm sorry, I don't know if I agree with that. I'm just going to be quite honest, because I think I think Hampton needs to be somewhere in Division 2, and Fort Valley needs to be moving up somewhere, because Fort Valley, to me, is doing a lot better than some of these guys in Division 2.
Now, I will say I heard them perform, what was it, Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Funky Music, and I was like, ooh, this is really good.
Absolutely.
So it was so good. So that's what got my attention with them. Okay, let's hand things over to Quan. What are we thinking right now when it comes to percussion?
So here's the thing about Fort Valley. We've all agreed that they've grown. The brother that has taken over the helm, he's doing wonders to turn that program around. But the percussion section hasn't pushed the envelope since when they were smaller. So in my opinion, what have they done? I'm just saying. Battles here and there, cool. But what have you done to push the envelope to make people say, hey, I want to go there? They haven't done anything yet. So I think they have the potential to, but I haven't seen anything yet, unfortunately. I think we're so excited about the band program to where, honestly, the percussion section is like hit or miss in the background.
Is it okay to be excited about the overall band program, though? Because percussion is a part of the band.
It is. But you don't act like we don't have a sense of individuality.
I'm just asking a question. That's it.
Don't act like we don't have egos. Don't act like for a football team, the quarterback is the man for the reason. We all know that the girls love drummers. So let's stop that.
Whoa.
I thought it was one band, one sound. What happened?
It's not. It's not, y'all. Stop that.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, okay? Because we don't have time for you right now. We'll come back. Okay, let's get into auxiliary portion when it comes to what we're seeing with 3D, Dancing Doll Divas.
I saw some good energy from them. I really think they come out of the gate and they continue to have good energy. I do think there is some room for improvement as far as technique and then execution throughout the routines. I could tell on the videos that I watched when they got a little winded, got a little tired, and I just would encourage them to push to the end.
Okay, cool. Now, we got to get to Division 1. I know people have been waiting for these bands. It's on everyone's radar, but I just want to know, are they a part of your personal rankings when it comes to Division 1, band number 2, North Carolina A&T Blue and Gold Marching Machine? Portia, you just finished off, so we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts about them Aggies? Everyone's laughing right now. Why are you laughing? What's happening here?
Because it's going to be mean. It's going to be mean. We have to do.
But go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm going to start with their dancers. I think Golden Delight always serves good energy. I've seen some good things from them as far as use of props and visuals. I think they're at the top of the game as far as using visuals and props and incorporating them into what they do. I'm just used to them having more technique. And because the squad is so large, I've seen a couple of timing issues throughout the routines, but they did this gate thing at the beginning of one of their routines that I thought was super dope. As far as the majorettes, they're clean and they're coordinated in their routines. I do wish it was more challenging and more difficult. I have seen more challenging and difficult things from them. So if they could, as the season goes on, get back into that. As far as the color guard, they are, as far as the bands that I, watched for this episode, had the best use of color and incorporation in the drills. Their color guard is all around that thing. They are bringing color to the show. They use different colors that stand out from the band's uniform. So kudos to them on that. But the difficulty level is not there. I know they do all, everything. But I wish that I could see a little bit more, some tossing, something else to push it and take it to the next level. With that many people, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, let's take it to the next level with that many people. How many people do they have in their band? Has to be, is it like a high 2 something?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
It has to be. Okay, let's take things to the next level when it comes to brass and winds. Jay, what are our thoughts right now when it comes to the Aggies?
So
because I see you shaking your head, and I'm just like, what's going on here?
I'm gonna just say it like this. A&T reminds me of that pretty girl with the bad breath. It's just kind of like they do so many things well, but sound wise just doesn't translate, right? Like let's keep it real. Like, yeah, I mean, but unfortunately, right? Their field shows are very great. I think that Gary's doing a great job with creating the field shows, putting the and as Portia said, like Golden Delight, pageantry, all of that is there. And even from an arrangement standpoint, there are some really good things that are happening in the arrangement standpoint, right? But execution musically doesn't always translate well. Again, intonation problems. Again, sometimes there's a balance issue. Sometimes even from a marching standpoint, when they're marching, you can hear a lot of feet in the sound, a lot of movement. It's again, the pretty girl with the bad breath. They do so many things right, and then there's just stuff that just goes wrong.
Do you think that they're challenging themselves? Is there a difference from last year's season to this year? Don't answer that question. I need you to think about it. Okay, Quan, I need you to start. That's where I need you to start with. Are they challenging themselves from last year's season to this season? What does that look like?
Well, percussion-wise, they are. I mean, Cold Steel is going to be Cold Steel. Like, Cold Steel, if they're not the number one, they're not the number 2 percussion section in the world. We're not even going to say country, in the world. From a marketing standpoint, they're on point. From pushing and evolving the culture of HBCU percussionists, they're doing it. I mean, I know that Dr. Lamont Lawhorn has transitioned to Virginia State, but while he was there teaming up with Harvey, I mean, what can you say that's honestly bad about them? And if we're going to be honest, their only competition on the East Coast is $1 Million Funk Squad.
Norfolk State, of course. Okay, well, we're going to talk about competition, and we're going to go to our Division I band number 1 school. Does everyone agree, or do you have something to say to rebuke this? I mean, Southern University, Human Jukebox. Portia, start this off. What are our thoughts? Do they deserve this spot when it comes to the number 1 place right now ranking?
The overall band?
Yes. Well, I mean, of course, but you're talking about auxiliary.
I don't want the King Bandits to attack me, but I'm not giving them the number 1 spot. But what I will say is that the Dolls should be number 1 on that ranking.
Okay.
In my opinion, as far as energy, the cleanliness of that routine and the technique that they are showing while dancing that fast, to me, is top notch. I have seen some things from them the last 2 years. Last year, they got a new coach, and I'm telling you, the Dolls are darling. I will say that I was a fan of the routines from last year more than what I've seen this year. But as far as execution of these routines and the technique that they're including in them, they need to, in my standpoint, from a dancer perspective, they should be number 1.
All right, we got number one for the dancers, but are we saying the same thing when it comes to brass and winds? Jay, what are your thoughts?
My question is, what are we judging this off of? What is this based off of? I mean, the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, just because it's your favorite band doesn't mean it's the right band. And that,
So you're a hater.
I don't feel like
Hater.
I'm a hater. I feel like I'm just being very honest, right? Like, I mean, come on, like they get called the Kangs for whatever reason, and you know, if that's what it is, that's what it is. That's what you choose to do, right? But overplaying, being the loudest band doesn't always make you the better band. And then the other part about that is when we're judging these things, while the dolls, I can agree with what Portia said, are great and fantastic.
Right.
What about the other auxiliary? How do we count that in the number of being ranked number one?
Yeah.
So from a musical standpoint, I think, you know, arrangement wise, they've always been really good at it, right? Like, you know, from the Hamer years to the Jackson years. I mean, the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. They've always had really good arrangements, and for their program, they've executed it really well. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like in this day and age, I feel like the overblow is the thing that gets you into the ranking of being quote unquote good. And I don't know if I count that.
Okay. I think that's a fair analysis. I mean, I think a good question to add to that is, how are we, or when do we become fans of these schools and band programs? You know what I mean? How, or the fandom, how has it become to the point of where it is right now when it comes to Human Jukebox? And maybe that's just families and generations and what we've known at different points in time, that now at this point, I just have an obligation to them, and that's it. That's all I'm loyal to.
Right.
Right.
That's absolutely a fact, because my family disowned me because I'm from Louisiana. They disowned me when I decided to attend Prairie View. So what you're saying is true. And to Jay's point, I think Southern is a consistent, great band program. Mm-hmm. From a drill standpoint, I don't think many people can outstep to them. But from a percussive aspect, they need to be let off the leash. Mm-hmm. At this point, how percussion has evolved over these years, if they're going to stick with that traditional style, they need to be put out front. And they need to market that outside of just doing their funk trains and their dances from what they be doing on the side. They truly need to put them out in front and market that style of percussion better than what we can do now.
Facts. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? At this time, we're going to allow our BTW crew to go ahead and deliberate. We have our rankings, but we want your personal rankings. So far, for the bands that we've discussed today, when it comes to Langston University Marching Pride Band, Fort Valley State, when it comes to Blue Machine Marching Band, when it comes to NCA&T Blue and Gold Marching Machine, as well as Southern University Human Jukebox, what are your personal rankings? While y'all do that, we're going to take our time with highlighting a school and a program that we believe could be the underdog, we believe deserves a highlight, and you all need to know about them. So at this time, we would love to highlight Florida Memorial, the Roar Marching Bands. Can I get a round of applause? Perfect. Now, we're going to give a little bit and more than a few facts about their program. They're Division II from NAIA, Miami Gardens, Florida, and their mascot is a lion. Now, here is what's very important to know. The school was established in 1879, but their marching band program came together and premiered in 2020. So that is very important to notate in the fact that they've been here since 2020 and have already been flued out overseas, perform in France and all, and are putting on a show nationally and internationally. The Roar is led by legendary educator and musician Richard Beckford, who brings more than 30 years of experience of building stellar band programs and successful leaders. So shout out to everyone that's a part of this band program. We look forward to seeing and hearing and watching you more as you continue to leave your new legacy as we support it all. Now, if you're watching this and would love to nominate a school in their band program to be a part of the next highlight, make sure to tag us and follow us for our next episode. And you can reach us at hashtag BTW Halftime, as well as HBCU Bands and BTW Crew. All right, BTW Crew. Now it's time for our personal rankings, and I need you to join us, okay? Can I get a drum roll, please? All right, there you have it. Those are our personal rankings. Do your personal rankings look similar to this? Or matter of fact, maybe after you watch this, you're trying to figure out who's on your ranking. What does that look like? So I encourage you to join us for our next episode. Better yet, have your rankings, include the schools you want us to talk about. Use the hashtag BTWCrew as well as hashtag BTW halftime. And we can't wait for you to join us for the next Blow the Whistle episodes, because you know, like I know, halftime is game time. Thank you, everyone.